What if spending time alone isn't a weakness, but one of the clearest signs of intelligence? For years, society has taught us that being surrounded by people is the key to happiness. We're told that the more friends we have, the more successful we must be, that being alone is something to avoid. But what if that belief is completely wrong? What if some of the smartest people in the world actually choose solitude? Not because they have no one to talk to, but because they understand something that most people don't. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that highly intelligent people often enjoy quiet moments more than crowded rooms? They don't constantly seek attention. They don't feel the need to be at every social event. They don't panic when they're alone. In fact, many of them seem to do their best thinking when nobody else is around. At first, this behavior can seem strange. Some people even mistake it for loneliness, arrogance, or social anxiety. But psychology paints a very different picture. Researchers suggest that intelligent people often process the world differently. They tend to think more deeply, reflect more often, and spend more time analyzing ideas than chasing constant stimulation. While others look for noise, they look for clarity. While others fear silence, they use it as a tool. But here's where it gets interesting. Being alone doesn't automatically make someone intelligent. And being intelligent doesn't mean someone dislikes people. The real difference lies in asterisk, choice. There's a huge psychological difference between feeling lonely because you have no one and choosing solitude because it helps you become your best self. Unfortunately, most people never understand that difference. They judge quiet people before getting to know them. They assume someone who enjoys being alone must be unhappy, when in reality, that person may be more at peace than anyone else in the room. In today's video, we're going to explore the fascinating psychology behind why smart people often prefer spending time alone. You'll discover the hidden mental advantages of solitude, why intelligent minds protect their peace, and how choosing quality over constant social interaction can actually improve creativity, focus, emotional control, and personal growth. Some of these reasons are backed by psychology. Others may completely change the way you think about being alone. So stay with us until the end, because the final reason is one that most people never realize. And once you understand it, you'll never look at solitude in the same way again. Before we begin, if you enjoy videos about psychology, human behavior, Sigma mindset, and self-improvement, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Now let's uncover why smart people often choose to be alone and why that choice may be far more powerful than most people ever imagine. They think more clearly without noise. One of the biggest reasons smart people prefer being alone is that solitude gives them something the modern world rarely offers: clarity. Every day we're surrounded by constant noise. Notifications, conversations, social media, opinions, and endless distractions compete for our attention. While many people become comfortable living in that environment, highly intelligent individuals often feel mentally exhausted by it. Psychologists have found that the human brain needs quiet moments to organize thoughts, solve problems, and make better decisions. When the mind is constantly interrupted, it has less opportunity to reflect deeply. That's why many intelligent people intentionally step away from crowds and spend time alone. They aren't running away from people. They're creating space for their minds to work at their highest level. Think about some of your best ideas. They probably didn't appear while scrolling through your phone or sitting in a noisy room. They came during a quiet walk while driving alone or sitting peacefully with your thoughts. Solitude gives the brain time to connect ideas that would otherwise remain hidden beneath constant distractions. This doesn't mean smart people dislike socializing. They simply understand that too much noise can cloud judgment. They protect quiet moments because those moments allow them to think creatively, solve difficult problems, and understand themselves more clearly. Instead of reacting to everything happening around them, they reflect before making decisions. They ask deeper questions, consider different perspectives, and avoid rushing into conclusions. That habit alone often leads to better choices and fewer regrets. In a world that constantly demands your attention, choosing silence isn't a weakness. For many intelligent people, it's one of the greatest tools for developing wisdom, creativity, and clear thinking. They protect their energy. Another reason intelligent people often choose solitude is because they understand that energy is one of their most valuable resources. Most people think only about managing their time, But smart individuals realize that having time means very little if you no longer have the mental energy to use it wisely. Every conversation, every argument, every unnecessary obligation, and every emotionally draining relationship consumes a small part of your energy. Over time, those small losses become significant. That's why highly intelligent people become extremely selective about who they spend their time with and what they allow into their lives. This doesn't mean they're antisocial or believe they're better than everyone else. It simply means they've learned through experience that not every invitation deserves a yes, not every debate deserves a response, and not every relationship deserves unlimited access to their life. Psychologists often explain that people who value their emotional well being are better at setting boundaries. They understand that constantly pleasing others eventually leads to stress, burnout, and poor decision making. Instead of trying to be available for everyone, they focus on maintaining the mental clarity needed to achieve their goals. A smart person knows that protecting peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. They choose conversations that inspire them instead of those that drain them. They invest their attention in people who encourage growth instead of constant negativity. Ironically, spending more time alone often gives them more energy to be fully present when they are with the people who truly matter. Solitude becomes a way to recharge, reflect, and return to the world with greater patience, focus, and emotional balance. And once you understand how valuable your energy really is, you'll begin to see why intelligent people guard it so carefully. They enjoy deep thinking. One of the defining characteristics of highly intelligent people is their love for deep thinking. While many people are constantly searching for entertainment or distraction, intelligent minds often find excitement in ideas. They enjoy asking difficult questions, exploring different perspectives, and understanding how the world really works. That kind of thinking is almost impossible in a noisy environment filled with constant interruptions. Solitude gives the brain the freedom to think without pressure. There are no conversations to follow, no opinions to respond to, and no expectations to meet. It's just you and your thoughts. For many intelligent people, this isn't boring at all. It's one of the most productive and enjoyable parts of the day. Psychologists explain that deep thinking activates parts of the brain responsible for creativity, problem solving, and long term planning. This is why many inventors, writers, scientists, and entrepreneurs intentionally spend time alone. They understand that great ideas rarely appear in the middle of chaos. They grow during moments of quiet reflection. Intelligent people also spend time analyzing their own decisions. They ask themselves what they could have done better, what lessons they learned, and how they can improve tomorrow. This habit of self reflection helps them grow faster than people who constantly distract themselves from their own thoughts. Of course, thinking deeply doesn't mean overthinking everything. There's an important difference. Deep thinking searches for understanding and solutions. Overthinking creates unnecessary fear and confusion. Smart people learn to recognize that difference. The more they understand themselves, the better they understand other people. And that understanding often begins with one simple habit: making time to be alone with their thoughts. They don't need constant validation. Another reason smart people often enjoy being alone is because they don't depend on constant approval from others. Many people measure their value by the number of compliments they receive, the attention they get on social media, or how many people agree with them. Intelligent people usually see things differently. This doesn't mean they don't appreciate encouragement. Everyone enjoys being recognized for their efforts. The difference is that their confidence isn't built on other people's opinions. Instead of asking, "Do people like me?" they ask, "Am I becoming the person I want to be?" Psychologists have found that people with strong internal confidence are less likely to seek validation from the outside world. They trust their own judgment, accept that not everyone will agree with them, and understand that approval can change from one day to the next. Because of this mindset, they don't feel the need to constantly surround themselves with people just to feel important. Solitude becomes comfortable because they already enjoy their own company. They don't need endless conversations to avoid feeling lonely. They don't chase attention to prove their worth. Their confidence comes from their values, their discipline, and the progress they make every day. Ironically, this independence often makes them more attractive to others. People naturally respect individuals who don't desperately seek approval because it shows emotional stability and self respect. The smartest people know that applause is temporary, but self respect lasts much longer. That's why they're willing to spend time alone if it means staying true to who they are instead of becoming someone else just to fit in. They value quality over quantity. One of the biggest reasons smart people prefer being alone is that they value quality over quantity in every part of life, especially when it comes to relationships. Many people believe that having a large group of friends automatically means you're happier or more successful. Intelligent people often see things differently. They understand that hundreds of shallow conversations can never replace one meaningful connection. Instead of surrounding themselves with people simply to avoid being alone, they choose relationships built on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. If those relationships are rare, they would rather spend time alone than waste energy on connections that add no real value. Psychologists explain that emotionally mature people become more selective with age because they recognize that every relationship requires time, attention, and emotional energy. Since those resources are limited, intelligent people invest them carefully. They prefer a few people who genuinely understand them over dozens who only know them on the surface. This doesn't mean they're unfriendly. In fact, many intelligent people enjoy meeting new people and having interesting conversations. The difference is that they don't feel the need to turn every acquaintance into a close friend. They're comfortable walking away from relationships that bring unnecessary drama, negativity, or emotional exhaustion. A smart person knows that loneliness isn't determined by how many people surround you. It's determined by the quality of your connections. You can stand in a room full of people and still feel completely alone. On the other hand, one meaningful friendship can bring more happiness than 100 casual relationships. That's why intelligent people choose depth for popularity. They would rather have fewer relationships that truly matter than countless connections that mean very little. They use solitude to grow. Perhaps the greatest advantage of spending time alone is that it creates space for personal growth. While many people use every free moment to escape boredom through entertainment or endless distractions, intelligent people often use solitude as an opportunity to become better. Being alone allows them to read, learn new skills, reflect on mistakes, plan future goals, exercise, meditate, or simply think without interruption. They understand that growth rarely happens by accident. It requires time, focus, and consistent effort. Three things that are much easier to develop in moments of solitude. Psychologists have found that people who regularly spend quiet time reflecting on their experiences often develop greater emotional intelligence and better decision-making skills. Instead of reacting to life automatically, they learn from it. Every challenge becomes a lesson, and every mistake becomes an opportunity to improve. This mindset changes the way intelligent people see being alone. They don't experience solitude as empty time, they see it as an investment. Every hour spent improving themselves increases the quality of the life they'll have tomorrow. Of course, this doesn't mean they isolate themselves from the world. Growth also happens through relationships and shared experiences. But they understand that real progress requires balance. Without time alone, it's difficult to truly understand yourself, your goals, and the direction you want your life to take. The smartest people don't wait for the perfect opportunity to grow. They create it, often in the quiet moments when nobody else is watching. And the final reason may be the most important of all, because it explains why solitude feels peaceful instead of lonely. The biggest reason, they find peace within themselves. The greatest reason smart people prefer being alone has nothing to do with avoiding other people. It has everything to do with the relationship they have with themselves. Many people fear being alone because silence forces them to face their own thoughts. They constantly seek distractions, conversations, or entertainment because they feel uncomfortable when there's nothing left but their own mind. Intelligent people often experience solitude differently. They don't see it as something to escape. They see it as a place where they can think clearly, recharge emotionally, and reconnect with themselves. Instead of feeling empty, they feel peaceful. Instead of searching for constant stimulation, they appreciate moments where life becomes quiet enough to truly reflect. Psychologists explain that people with strong self awareness usually have a healthier relationship with solitude. They don't depend on other people to create their identity or define their worth. While they value meaningful relationships, they don't fear spending time by themselves because their happiness isn't built entirely on external attention. This doesn't mean smart people never feel lonely. Everyone experiences loneliness at different points in life. The difference is that they understand loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. Loneliness is the pain of feeling disconnected, while solitude is the choice to spend time with yourself for growth, clarity, and peace. Over time, they discover that many of life's greatest lessons arrive during quiet moments. Important decisions become clearer, creative ideas appear more naturally, emotional wounds begin to heal. Goals become easy to define because there are fewer distractions pulling attention in different directions. Perhaps the most powerful lesson of all is this: if you can't enjoy your own company, no amount of company from others will ever feel enough. Real confidence begins when you're comfortable sitting alone with your thoughts without needing constant noise to escape them. The smartest people don't avoid the world because they hate people. They step away from the noise because they understand that peace is one of the most valuable things a person can protect. And once they find that peace within themselves, they stop chasing temporary distractions and start building a life that truly reflects who they are. Now we'd love to hear from you. Do you enjoy spending time alone, or do you find it difficult? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more videos about psychology, human behavior, Sigma mindset, and self-improvement. Thanks for watching, and remember, being alone doesn't always mean you're lonely. Sometimes it simply means you've discovered the peace that other people are still searching for.